Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something new, shaking things up in the AI world.
Yeah, specifically, a pretty big funding announcement.
Yeah.
It's for European AI chip company, VSORA.
Right, VSORA. And our mission really is to unpack this. It's a $46 million investment.
Exactly. Why is it catching our eye? What could it, signal for where AI is heading, especially around performance,
Yeah.
accessibility?
And cost, potentially. What really jumped out, for me anyway, from their press release,
Yep.
they're calling themselves Europe's only provider, claiming their AI chips are, well, better than the current big players. More powerful, more efficient, maybe even cheaper.
It definitely sets up this fascinating underdog story, doesn't it? A European player taking on the giants.
Absolutely. And the money, the $46 million, it's not small change.
No, definitely not. You've got serious backers. Odium, a French family office leading it.
Right.
Then Omnes Capital, a daily capital, and interestingly, the European Innovation Council Fund.
So these aren't just casual bets. These investors clearly see something significant here.
They must. And VSORA's goal, it seems pretty ambitious.
Yeah, they phrase it as redefining cost-effective high-performance AI inference deployment at scale.
Which sounds like they're directly targeting what they see as limitations in GPUs, the current workhorses for AI.
Okay, so let's dig into that. What are these inherent GPU limitations they're talking about? Why wouldn't GPU be the perfect tool?
Well, it's sort of like GPUs are amazing at parallel processing, which AI needs, absolutely. But remember, they were first built for graphics.
Right, for video games and visuals.
Exactly. So think of it like maybe using a really complex Swiss Army knife for just one specific job, like turning a screw. It works, but a dedicated screwdriver might be, faster and less awkward.
Okay.
So for AI inference running the trained model, you have very specific calculations, matrix math, moving data in particular ways. A GPU, being designed for graphics flexibility, might have parts of its architecture that aren't fully optimized or even used for just inference. That can mean wasted energy, slower speeds compared to, well, a purpose-built tool.
So VSORA's chip is supposed to be that purpose-built tool, optimized just for those AI tasks.
That seems to be the idea. Their purpose-built architecture likely strips away the unnecessary bits and really focuses on accelerating those specific AI inference operations. Less overhead, potentially more efficiency.
Got it. And their answer is this new chip, the Joten 8.
Yeah.
And the claims in the release are pretty bold, more than 3 times the performance, less than half the power of what's out there now.
Those are huge numbers. If they can deliver that, it's, well, significant.
Very. And it mentions they're focusing specifically on AI inference. Why is that distinction important? Training versus inference.
It's crucial. So training is the heavy lifting up front, teaching the AI model on massive data sets. It takes a lot of computational power. Inference is what happens after the model is trained. It's the deployment phase, using the model to make predictions, generate text, analyze images, whatever its job is.
So like when I asked ChatGPT a question, that's inference running.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the model inferring an answer based on its training.
Yeah.
And as AI gets deployed everywhere, inference becomes the dominant workload. Think millions, billions of queries.
Right.
So running inference efficiently and cheaply at massive scale is, well, it's the key challenge now for widespread AI adoption.
Yeah.
Training is hard, but inference is constant.
So VSORA is betting that by focusing only on inference, they can beat the GPUs, which have to be good at both training and inference, plus graphics.
That seems to be the strategy. Not trying to be the jack of all trades. Instead, laser focusing the silicon design on making that inference stage super fast and power frugal,
Okay.
optimizing for the specific math, the data movements, everything involved when the AI is actually doing its job, not learning it or rendering graphics.
And the press release mentions quite a range of applications. Generative AI in data centers, like the large language models we just mentioned,
Yep.
but also autonomous driving, robotics, even edge AI. That's processing on the device itself, right?
Exactly. On your phone, in a car, on a factory robot.
So why would VSORA's approach be especially good for something like, say, autonomous driving?
Well, think about it. A self-driving car needs to make split-second decisions based on tons of sensor data. Cameras, LiDAR, radar,
Constantly.
constantly. And it absolutely cannot afford delays. Plus, cars have limited power budgets. You can't just stick a massive power-hungry server rack in the trunk.
Right. Battery life and heat are big deals.
Precisely. So if VSORA delivers on that 3x performance, less than half the power claim, that could be a huge advantage. More AI smarts in the car without draining the battery or needing complex cooling.
A potential game changer there. And for edge AI, like on a smartphone.
Similar story. Power efficiency is king on mobile devices. A dedicated, efficient inference chip could let you run much more sophisticated AI directly on your phone, maybe for real-time translation, better camera features, things like that, without killing your battery.
It's interesting how that focused design could unlock things across such different areas.
It really is. It highlights how fundamental efficiency is becoming.
And the market they're jumping into, it's clearly enormous. The release quotes a projection, 16% compound annual growth for AI inference.
Yeah, hitting something like $255 billion by 2030, starting from around $124 billion in 2025.
Wow, that's massive growth.
Really underscores the scale of the opportunity, doesn't it? And why efficient inference is such a hot area.
So VSORA's timing seems pretty good, hitting the market just as this need for efficient deployment is really exploding.
If they can execute, yes. If those performance and efficiency numbers hold up in real-world silicon, they're positioning themselves right in the path of that massive growth wave.
Now, the press release also mentions they've set up partnerships with global semiconductor industry leaders for manufacturing. That sounds pretty important.
Oh, absolutely critical. Designing a chip is one thing.
Getting it made is another.
Completely.
Okay.
Especially at the cutting edge. You need access to advanced fabs, the manufacturing expertise, quality control. These partnerships are essential to actually produce the J8 chip reliably and at scale.
It shows they're thinking about the practical side, not just the design.
Exactly. It signals they understand the whole pipeline, from concept to silicon in hand.
And then there's the comment from VSORA CEO Khaled Molaj. He talks about ensuring Europe's technological sovereignty in AI computing.
Right, and being the sole alternative to non-European chip designers.
That definitely adds another layer, doesn't it? A kind of geopolitical angle.
It really does. Look, AI is widely seen now as a critical strategic technology, like energy or communications. And many countries, or regions like the EU, are thinking hard about securing their own capabilities in foundational tech like chips, reducing reliance on others.
So this funding, especially with the EIC involved, fits into that bigger picture of Europe trying to build its own tech independence.
It certainly aligns with that narrative. We've seen similar pushes in areas like battery production or cloud infrastructure. It's about wanting to have domestic control over technologies deemed essential for the future economy and, frankly, security.
It echoes other times in history where controlling key technologies was crucial.
It does. Access to and control over fundamental building blocks often shapes economic power and influence.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. We have VSORA, European company, just landed $46 million.
Yep, significant funding.
To bring their Joten 8, or J8, AI inference chip to market, planned for 2025.
Correct.
And they're making some pretty eye-popping claims, potentially more than triple the performance, less than half the power compared to current chips.
Those are the headline numbers, yes. If achieved, it's a big deal.
And it could be important not just for the company, but maybe for Europe's position in the whole AI tech race, offering a homegrown choice in a market dominated by, well, non-European companies right now.
That's certainly part of the narrative and clearly part of the motivation for some of the investors, you'd imagine. Technological sovereignty.
And their specific focus is inference the doing part of AI, which is key for everything from generative AI in huge data centers.
Right, running those large language models.
To the smarts and self-driving cars, robots, and even the AI running directly on our phones and devices at the edge.
Exactly. A huge range of current and future applications rely heavily on efficient inference.
And looking at that market growth, that 16% annual growth, heading towards $250 billion by 2030.
Yeah, it just frames the immense potential here. If you can provide a leap in performance and efficiency for inference, the demand is clearly there and growing rapidly.
So, okay, here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Just imagine for a second. What if VSORA or someone like them has actually cracked it? What if they've engineered a chip that genuinely leapfrogs the current tech in efficiency and performance for AI inference?
It's a provocative question.
What kind of completely new applications might that unlock? Things we maybe haven't even thought of yet because the power or cost was just too high before.
Right.
And how could that shift the whole global AI picture? You know, that balance between innovation coming from maybe unexpected places, market dominance by the incumbents, and this push for regional tech power.
It definitely raises fundamental questions about where the next breakthroughs will come from and how the competitive landscape might evolve.
Yeah.
A lot to think about.
Absolutely. Gives you some real food for thought about who's building the future of AI.
Indeed. And for anyone wanting to dig deeper into VO specifically, we'll put links to their website and their LinkedIn page in the show notes.
Great. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.